This is Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate, the podcast where we cover home buying, home selling, home improvement tips and ideas, market trends and developments, and investing in real estate. If you own real estate in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area, or want to own real estate here, then you're in the right place. Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate is hosted by Blake Watson, a real estate agent and investor in Tennessee and Georgia.
Welcome to Let's Talk Chattanooga Real Estate. I'm Blake Watson. I'm a realtor with Epic Realty, and I'm your host for the show. And today, I'm reading an article about housing affordability from the newspaper here in Chattanooga. And let's just start with the headline, all right? Housing costs soar out of reach for all but the upper 25%. Now, the article here in the paper goes on to say that the cost of a single-family dwelling has climbed twice as fast as family incomes over the past 6 years. And the article cites some population shifts away from the cities, which it calls unusual in American history. And reading through the rest of this article, it gets pretty discouraging about the future opportunities to own a home. Now, maybe it would surprise you to know that this article was published in the Chattanooga News Free Press on Sunday, March 6th, 1977. That's right, 47 years ago. Wow. Back in 1977, housing starts in America totaled 1.16 million, which, according to the article, was about 20% below the need. So, there was a housing shortage, and not enough new houses were being built. Sound familiar? And the article cites a study done by MIT and Harvard, and it indicates in 1970, almost half of America's families could afford to buy a medium-priced new home. But only 25% could afford the same standard home as of 1975. And the article said if this trend continues, then by 1981, typical new homes would sell for a whopping $78,000, and only the most affluent groups would be able to afford them. Well, isn't it amazing how an article from 1977 echoes some of the same concerns that we hear about today in 2024? Not enough housing starts, more housing demand than available houses, prices soaring, prices going out of reach. All of these are today's headlines, just as they were in 1977. So what can we learn from looking back through history? Well, we can often make informed assumptions about what may happen in the future. So let's make some comparisons. In 1977, the average 30-year mortgage interest rate was 8 7/8%, almost 9%. Today, in 2024, the average 30-year mortgage rate is about 7%. So interest rates are lower today by almost 2 percentage points from back in 1977. And how about wages and income? And what has happened to income over these past 47 years? Well, in 1977, the average household income in the U.S. was approximately $16,000. Can you imagine that? $16,000 average household income back in 1977. So now in 2024, the average is about $80,000. That's almost a 400% increase in household income over the years. Now, keep in mind that this data is for household incomes, not individual incomes. How about housing prices? Well, in 1977, the national median home price was $48,800, and now it is $426,000, which is a 773% increase in the median home price since 1977 on a national level. Now, thankfully, our median home price in Chattanooga is a good bit lower than the $426,000, so we are thankful to have lower prices here in Chattanooga. Now, I've made one more comparison for your consideration. In 1977, the national median home price of $48,800 was about 3 times the average annual household income in America. Now, in 2024, the national median home price is more than 5 times the average household income in America. So, we have indeed seen an escalation in home prices across the country that has outpaced inflation and outpaced wage growth. And it has been going on a long time. This data alone shows the growth over the past 47 years. The headline in 1977 said that housing costs were soaring out of reach back then. But we know that people have continued to buy houses, and new home buyers have continued to be able to successfully buy their first home over these years. So if our history tells us anything about the future, it is that housing costs will continue to go up, perhaps faster than inflation or wage growth. And if home ownership is in your future, it would be wise to begin planning and considering the steps needed to own a home. Because just like what has happened since 1977, people are still able to buy their first home and their second home and go on from there. It is attainable, but you need to plan accordingly and prepare yourself. FHA has low down payment, 30-year home loans, and those have been around since the Great Depression of the 1930s. The down payment portion has actually gotten lower since then, but they started that 30-year mortgage program back in the 1930s. However, new homeowners have not always had the opportunity to take advantage of down payment assistance programs. Those have been offered by some lenders and municipalities and by both the states of Tennessee and Georgia. These down payment assistance programs help bring that first home within reach, reducing the cost to get started as a homeowner. There are programs like THDA, Georgia Dream, USDA Rural Development, and FHA. They are all working to make homeownership a reality for someone who might not think that they can afford to buy. And you may be surprised at the help that is readily available to get you into homeownership. And the ever-increasing price of houses does not need to stop you from getting in the market sooner than later and buy your first home. Just as someone who read that article in 1977 may have gotten discouraged about buying a house back in those days, well, we know those who did buy have flourished since then. So don't get discouraged. Buying a house is still a very good investment, and it is still a great way to build wealth here in the United States. And as a realtor, I'm always ready to advise and help you plan and navigate the challenges of buying your first home. So if you are looking to buy your first home, or if you know someone, maybe a family member, a coworker, a friend, someone you know that is looking to buy their first home, well, they need some good guidance too. In fact, I have written a book titled The Complete Guide to Buying a Home. And I'll be glad to mail you a copy of this book or deliver a free copy of it to you. It's free, and it would be my gift to you for listening to this podcast. And all you need to do is contact me by text or phone. You can call me at 423-315-1815 or just send me a text. Ask me for your free copy. And I'm Blake Watson. I'm an agent with Epic Realty. And again, that mobile phone number is 423-315-1815. Now, my brokerage office phone is 888-893-3537. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn as Blake Watson and on Instagram as Rock and Roll Blake. My website is athomechattanooga.com. And you can find links to my website and social media. They're all in the show description. If this podcast has been helpful to you, well, please share this podcast with a friend or someone else that may be looking to buy a house, and follow this podcast so you won't miss an episode. And until next time, I wish you all the best in your real estate journey.